So first off, question: why should you care what the weird thing in the woods with the really bad framing and the no absolute noise control cares about writing? Probably shouldn't, honestly. I'll explain why I think that some of the stuff I'm going to say be worthwhile, but I think you should only really listen if you find this interesting or entertaining, because yeah, there's a lot of experts out there. Just this morning, I was on YouTube looking for some ambient music to listen to while I was doing a task, and my daughter comes up behind me, and one of the recommended videos was, I'm not going to be specific, but it was a writing advice video. And she's like, well, why won't you, are you going to watch that video so you can get your writing better? I'm like, look at the thumbnail. I'm like, I've never heard of this guy. And I'm like, why would I take writing advice from this guy? And I don't know who he is. So I click on it, and he's got like a lot of followers. So I think, well, maybe I'm living under a rock, and this is some best-selling author who actually knows quite a bit. And I click on his links, and it took me forever to try to find out this guy's like writing status. Like, he had writer on his bio, and he had links to a lot of other social media, but no Amazon pages or no, like, on mention of an agent he's contracted with. And then I go to one that finally says he's working on his fantasy novel. I'm like, this guy hasn't even published yet, and he's got 90,000 people listening to him talk about how you should write. And like, he might know something. I'm sure he's found out a lot of interesting things in his journey that might be worth to share. But why do 90,000 people think this guy is an expert? And it's mostly, I think, because, he probably makes interesting videos that are fun to watch. And I feel like you should take me with that grain of salt. I am a published author. I have been traditionally published before. I have won a couple awards. Not huge ones, but I've won them. Realm Awards mainly. But yeah, and I think, I have a specific niche of expertise that I'll talk about later. But that's kind of my point, is you shouldn't really take anybody's advice as rule of law, no matter how polished their videos look, no matter how entertaining they are. But maybe something that they say will stir something in your brain and help you create. And I think that is my kind of strength as an author, writer, and advice giver, because I do take mentorships, and most of the time the mentorships I'm taking with are with what I call baby writers, meaning that they're people who are pre-publication or just finding their feet. And a lot of times what they really need is just someone to tell them it's okay to just do the thing. They'll continue, well, is it okay if I write? Like, yeah. And or they'll be saying, is there any market for this? I'm like, well, maybe not, maybe. And you have to decide whether writing something that is off market is important enough to you to have the handoff of not making as much money, which is a lot of the choices I've made in my author career, and what is important to you. And I find that people get in these roadblocks where they can't really, they want permission before they continue. They want to hear from somebody who's been doing it longer before they continue. And no, I am not a best-selling author. I've seen some people really stretch the definition of best-selling, and I probably could get it by one of those if I really want to go, well, yeah, I have been top in my category by Amazon once or twice. I paused to cough, that's why the word cut. I had a book get into the top 100 on Amazon once, I think on a sales day, but that was a long time ago. So yeah, I've sold books, but I've like always, I couldn't quit my day job. If I didn't have my day job and my husband having passive income from being a military retiree, I wouldn't be able to support myself in my writing, and that's a fair thing to disclose. A lot of writers are in that state, and like I said, I've been published both traditionally and independently in the past. Right now I'm all independent because my publisher went under. They were a very good publisher. They treated me very fairly. They gave me all my rights back, and the books are republished under my own imprint now. But my point is, even the best writer, even the one with the best advice, isn't going to necessarily have the writing that's right for you. Like, I could not write in the way that Brandon Sanderson does. I honestly don't even like his books that much. So trying to write like him, even though he is a much better seller than me, wouldn't make sense. Similarly, I've thought about writing to market a few times, and there are a lot of great resources if you want to do that, but I know that I would creatively burn out if I tried to write to market. I've tried to do it a few times, and either the book mutated into something that was not to market, or I just got very tired writing it, and it became something that was no longer a joy for me. And at this point in my writing, the one thing I really embrace is the fact that I still enjoy writing. Like, you see all these posts about writers hating writing. I love it. Like, if I don't get time to write every day, I get sad. Um, I keep telling myself I'm going to take a break because I've published enough books, and I get to the end and I want to write another book. Let me see my notes. I really want to get to neat points. So yeah, my special skills are I'm honest, and I am someone who doesn't take no for an answer as far as creativity goes. It's like I feel like a lot of people, like I said, just are looking for permission, and I have, some ability to get past that and just say go for it. And I love encouraging people. Um, we can talk about all the like fancy stuff about how writing is an art and a craft, and you're such a amazing special snowflake because you're a writer. It's not about that. It's about the fact that you have something that you love doing that can also give other people joy, and you should embrace that. And even if the amount of people you give joy to isn't, I'd say, a huge amount, like the amount of reach you'd get if you were an international bestseller or something. How many people do you need to make happy to make it worth it? That's a good question to ask yourself. And for me, I've got to that number, and it's in a few hundreds. I think my books have been read way more than that, but the amount of people who I know who enjoyed them, who interact with them, is a couple hundred. Um, from reviews, from people reaching out to me, from people who I've talked to. So that is kind of my philosophy. It's like I'm doing this for the audience at this point, and because it fulfills me, and because I'm not sure I could stop. Like I've tried to stop a few times. Also, if anyone knows what to do with really bad hard water for hair, I'd be curious to hear that, because I think my hair is screaming out an SOS, that the police would, not the actual police, but I was thinking Sting and the band. I think they would offer me some help. I'm sending out. No, I can't get copyright striked. Yes, but as promised, I'm not going to leave you hanging here. Sorry about the phone. There he is, the majestic man himself. All right.